Fog Racing back again with another Career Mode part episode 39 of the Ferrari Career Mode, and sadly the car is just still shite. No matter how many upgrades I pump into this car, amount of millions are being spent, literally an upgrade to each part every weekend, and the car's just nowhere. As you can see, qualifying 6th and 11th in Q1. Heavy rain was on Friday, so there wasn't much dry running. We had Carlos Sainz bottling it big time in Q2, so he's out, and in the Q3 it's only Charles Leclerc who's actually going out. And as you can see, it's not good. Like, he's by far the slowest car. Verstappen manages to get pole position, and Leclerc is 1.2 off and sits in P10. Pretty much hoping for a miracle here at the Japanese Grand Prix, so hopefully we get that as we start P10 and P11. Verstappen gets a good start off the front row. Him and Perez, well, it's him and Perez. It's Hamilton who tries to the outside manoeuvre into turn 1 in Japan. That would take serious cojones, so to speak. But Leclerc's damaged the underfloor running wide, which is just not ideal here as we move on to lap 9. Gasly's moved up into the podium, overtaking Hamilton. Perez currently at the fastest lap, while Norris and Ricciardo both battle with the Ferraris. But there's been a crash on the track as we run on board with Yuki Tsunoda, but who has stuck it into the wall? And it looks like it is the Aston Martin of Mick Schumacher. This guy just loves crashing, and look at that, he's went straight on. Last year at that corner, the exact same stuff, and again, it's happened again. Kevin Magnussen, this is the guy who was actually behind him in the previous lap. Back-to-back laps, there was a crash, and now with a spinner, Lando Norris spins at the final corner. He's dropped it, he's managed to rejoin as a few cars pit. Leclerc stays out on the medium, Carlos Sainz starting on the hards, but I don't even know, to be honest, at this stage what is the best strategy. But now the safety car has actually been deployed, which has completely fucked up this order. You have two Williams who are now absolutely flying, but I believe, who's this? Was this Van Dorn or was this Kevin Magnussen? If it is, it's the exact same corner, lock up into the wall, and it was actually Kevin Magnussen who's retired. But as the safety car is coming in, Sainz, who's not pitted, sits in P2 in a Red Bull sandwich. Leclerc has pitted, he sits P10 behind the likes of Ricciardo, Bottas, Gasly, Ocon, Hamilton and Russell. So that really benefited Russell, and I guess he's actually stepped up in recent races. But as you can see, we kick off here, but Verstappen doesn't go, and he's continuously weaving down the straight before we get to the line, which is kind of absolutely knackered everyone there. But he's going to pull away, he's on fresh tyres. Perez is on softs, which means he has to pit again. Leclerc with us, we don't have to pit, but again, it is 33 laps to the end or something like that. But as you can see, Perez overtakes Sainz. We now have both Mercedes looking to overtake Sainz, who's just getting absolutely swamped here. Carlos Sainz dropping down the order, as it looks like Daniel Ricciardo has went off at the same corner as the other guys, and everyone is just falling victim to that. He's damaged his front wing, and again the safety car's deployed because Charles Leclerc has had to pull over with a Ferrari in the wall and with a Ferrari in P18. How has this happened? Let's see what happened. We've got Yuki Tsunoda behind Charles Leclerc into the corner where they're all making mistakes, just collects him, hits him initially, and then hits him again in the gravel trap, and now Leclerc had to retire in a race where he was actually looking quite good, and it's a fucking shame. But as the safety car comes in, Verstappen leads from Russell, Bottas, Alonso, Albon, Perez, Stroll, Norris and Hamilton. But Hamilton actually spun at the final corner, which held up the rest of us, so there's a bit of a gap now between Hamilton. But Lance Stroll in the Williams currently sits in P7, while Carlos Sainz sits in P17. If that isn't rock bottom, I don't know what is rock bottom. As we move on though to lap 36, we're just caught in traffic here. No chance. Lance Stroll sitting in P6, Alonso sits in the final podium position. There is another yellow flag. I wouldn't even be surprised if this is a safety car, but it's not. It's not. As we move on, Bottas, Shu, Norris all battling for the same bit of tarmac here. Alonso and Russell outside the points. It was looking like a podium for one of those two. It's looking like hee-haw. Yuki Tsunoda, who wiped us out the race, sitting in P10, but he's pitted and he's going to finish in P17. But Perez managed to get in front of Verstappen, wins. Then it was Gasly, Hamilton, Ocon, Sebastian Vettel in the AlphaTauri, and Lance Stroll delivering Williams' first points of the season with a very mightily impressive P7. I wouldn't say they've got the slowest car. I'd probably say Williams have got the second slowest car. I think Aston Martin truly does take the cake for the shittest car, if I'm being honest. But Lance Stroll, what a drive, getting P7. Albon gets P8. Russell gets P9. Alonso gets the final point from Bottas, Schumacher, Ricardo, Sainz, Norris, Van Dorn, Shinoda, and then Guan Yu Zhou. And here are the standings. Perez does close it in on Verstappen, but he needs a bit more as we go into the final couple of rounds. But that'll do it here for Japan, the land of the rising sun. Peace.